This is day 3 of doing a 5-minute sketch every day, and let's get going. I have sped this one up a little bit to like 2 times speed because 5 minutes is a really, really long time for me to talk. And actually, this one, I was pretty happy with it very early on. Also, apologies for the exposure flashing. I mentioned in my first one that it just, if I fix it, it doesn't work because the light changes over 5 minutes and whatever. So yeah, for this one I spent quite a lot longer on the sketch. I regretted that yesterday, so I learned from my mistakes, and I spent a whole minute out of 5 minutes on the sketch. So yes, the 5 minutes does include the pencil sketch as well as the actual painting. So yeah, I chose to spend a full minute on the painting and then went in with my shadows first. I decided to use a slightly different colour palette this time. I don't often paint in red, so I thought that would be fun because, you know, this is all about having fun and experimenting and trying new things. So yeah, I started off with my red and then went in with some yellow, which I quite like to do on like highlights and high areas, even if it actually makes it darker than the brightest highlights of my paper. And honestly, at this stage, I'm about 2 minutes in. I was really happy with how it was looking. I probably could have left it at about the 2 minute 30 mark, maybe 3 minute mark, and been happy with how it turned out. I loved the kind of the structure of the shadows. I added the abstraction just because that's something I always do. But yeah, literally at this point right here, I could have left it as it was. I loved it. I loved the looseness of it, the structure of it, the depth of the shadows, the depth, like the brightness of the highlights. But I had 5 minutes to work with, so what am I going to do? I'm going to use a finer brush to go in and add some finer details. And again, I really don't think I actually needed to do this. It does just define some of those areas. And maybe at this point I preferred it more, and then I think I maybe kind of ruined it by adding the eyes in. I much preferred it without the iris and the pupil painted in. But again, like I said, this is all about experimenting and trying new things. It did improve when I blended that out with some yellow. But at this point, I think it actually looks pretty perfect. I was very surprised that I had so long left for this painting. And I think it just goes to show how quickly you can learn and improve by doing like quick daily sketches. I sort of completely forgotten how quickly you improve with just practice, which sounds stupid, but it's true. And so for the final couple of details, I use my neutral tint color just to refine some of the shadows and the details in the eyes. And that is it done. What do you think? And would you have guessed that it only took 5 minutes?